Welcome to Heart about everything lupus, where we discuss everything about lupus. I'm Susie van der Walt, or as most of you know me, Susie Eagles Flight. I've had lupus for 17 years, started the first lupus support organization in South Africa 16 years ago. I'm on the steering committee of the World Lupus Federation, and I'm one of the managing members of Lupus South Africa and serve on the board of Andrea's Gift Foundation. Today we are going to talk about another tough subject, lupus and emotions. We have covered a lot of mental issues in the podcast and there might be some overlapping, but there's a reason for it, because mental health is something that we really need to take care of. Emotions are everything I feel, but also how I handle what I feel. Often people tend to keep emotions bottled up inside as a way of compartmentalize or deal with things as they come. For people with lupus, flares can increase emotions that are already heightened. Today we are going to discuss the skills you need to deal with those emotions. Just a note, I've had 2 strokes, so please bear with me if I struggle with pronunciation. So, get a cup of nice hot coffee or tea, put your earphones in, sit in a relaxing chair, and let the two of us discuss lupus. Lupus and your emotions. Emotions can affect your quality of life for better or for worse, including with respect to your sense of identity and your relationship with others. Without effective coping skills, it is challenging to manage these intense feelings. Develop strategies and tools for dealing with them can help you avoid being flooded with emotions and thoughts, and find particular ways to de-stress and accept the feelings that may cause stress. What are emotions? An emotion is a complex state of consciousness or feeling. It triggers physical and psychological changes that influences a person's thoughts and behaviors. For example, if you're angry at someone, your heart starts racing, you sweat, and then you have this aggressive behavior towards that person. But it's not right emotion, but just to explain. Emotions exist on a spectrum, and we all work with full color palette of them. Like an artist, we paint our state of mind and body with all the colors available. For example, blue is sadness. Emotions include fear, sadness, anger, disgust, surprise, joy, as well as shame, guilt, pride, embarrassment, resentment, confusion, frustration, disappointment, happiness, jealousy, and contentment. No emotion is better or worse than another. Some individuals express their emotions more deeply, like others. I'm one of those. Lupus has an impact on your emotions, and your emotions have an impact on your behavior. This can affect your ability to function in everyday life, because this sudden lupus and chronic illness affect your emotions, and sometimes you're not ready for all that and you can't deal with these emotions, so it's a circus, and that is why we need coping skills. The unpredictability of a lupus flare and the pain and fatigue can all have a compounding effect on your emotions. Additionally, medication you can take to manage your lupus may have side effects that cause mood swings or emotions that are significantly different from those you normally feel or want to express. For example, prednisone. Oh boy, it makes me a lion. Lifestyle choices can also affect your emotions. Your sleep patterns, schedule, and environment can alter your feelings. Everything around you alters your feelings. And emotions can affect your lupus. Any intense emotions like sadness, anger, fear, anxiety, depression can cause your lupus to react. For example, say there is a death in your family. That shock and sadness can cause a flare. Have you felt how sick you feel after such a day, after you were informed of somebody's death? Even a day filled with joy and laughter, the next day you pay for it. So clearly, you have seen with your lupus how emotions can affect your lupus. I was a very in control of my emotions freak with this balanced life. Never talking about mental health because I was raised like that. It was if you were depressed or anxious, you were crazy. You didn't talk about it, you just handle it. And then came lupus. And I had to learn, and I'm still learning, how to cope with emotions because lupus creates chaos. There is still times that I'm out of control and I can't manage my emotions, or my emotions is more intense than other people will feel them. And I have to learn to cope with those emotions and change my behavior. Otherwise, my behavior is erratic. Now, stress. Coping with an illness, especially an unpredictable one without clear timelines, is stressful. You may have anxiety about the future, especially with regard to possible flares and remission. You don't know when they're coming. Additionally, stress can in turn contribute to flares. Also, preparing for an event or just even a braai, you are anxious because you are stressing. Am I going to be okay? Then after the event, you stress about what will my lupus now do to me? Types of stress. Acute stress occurs when we are faced with tasks that need to be completed on a timeline, when we are running late, or in an argument. That coping with a timeline is definitely one of mine. Chronic stress, on the other hand, occurs over a period of time. Some examples include family pressures, financial concerns, and long-term health issues. I mean, that's stuff that we all deal with at the moment. A certain amount of stress is beneficial and helps protect your body from harm. The flight, fight, or freeze response that is built into our biological response mechanisms are meant to be productive and allow our body to process stress. But experiencing these physical, emotional, and mental responses over a long time can be overwhelming and undesired. When you are feeling stressed, your body releases stress hormones, cortisol, adrenaline, and norepinephrine. Prolonged release of these hormones often has a negative impact on your physical and emotional health. Stress hormones have been linked to health problems with blood pressure, the immune system, and many more biological systems. If you are frequently having intense reactions to stressful events, it is useful to work on strategies to decrease your emotional response. Because all of us are going to deal with this stress at the time. Because your body is going to produce that hormone continuously. I mean, your whole body has inflammation all over it. The immune system is corrupt, and now you're taking drugs that suppresses the immune system. None of that we are created for. So obviously your body is going to be in stress continuously, and that affects your body in a negative way. And that is why you need to learn to cope with the stress, because that is going to make your flares way less. Let's de-stress. Conscious yawning exercise. You may recognize that when you are anxious, you yawn more. Conscious yawning increases the oxygen content in your body and can reduce stress, increase relaxation, and promote alertness and cognitive awareness. So cognitive awareness means your brain processes. And then there is 4-7-8 breathing. This is one of my favorites. Write it down, put it on a wall, and remember to do that when you're anxious. It's the only thing that really works for me. Place your tongue on the roof of your mouth behind your teeth and exhale. Inhale for the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath until the count of 7, 5, 6, 7, and exhale on count 8. Inhale again and then repeat steps 1 to 5, 3 or more times. It really works for anxiety, anger, anything, and I believe in this. The next one we are covering is depression. Now this is one that we can all relate with, because it's really something that has touched our lives. The moment that you're diagnosed with lupus, that is what you feel in the beginning. You feel it right through your lupus journey, and you must most of us are on antidepressants. Now, depression is the most frequently reported mental health problem in people with lupus. Depression is common and normal occurrence, and there are many events and challenges in navigating life's journey that could lead to the onset of depression. Sadness and anxiety can lead to depression. There is an increased risk in the first 2 years of chronic illness for onset of depression. If you are experiencing little interest or pleasure in things you used to enjoy, or you are feeling down, depressed, hopeless, it may be useful for you to find a professional to talk to regarding these feelings. Experiencing a change in mood for over 6 weeks could also be an indicator of depression. Other symptoms of depression include feeling restless, tired and run down, having trouble falling asleep, staying asleep or sleeping too much, having difficulty concentrating, experiencing abrupt dietary changes, having little appetite or overeating. If you are presently having feeling of guilt, hopelessness, thoughts of hurting yourself or suicidal thoughts, please talk to your rheumatologist, social worker, nurse, and ask for referral to a mental health specialist. Our biggest problem in lupus community is that we don't ask help when it comes to mental health. It's something that that is a culture in society, and it's something that needs to be broken, because mental health is just as important as your physical health. If you need immediate help regarding suicide, depression and anxiety, I will be including the numbers that are 24 hours in the show notes. Anxiety. Anxiety often occurs along with depression. Nearly half of lupus patients experience an anxiety disorder. Most people recognize the normal baseline level of everyday anxiety. So you can have a normal level anxiety, but you can also have more, which is the problem that we really struggle with. Anxiety can cause both physical and cognitive symptoms in one's body, including sweaty hands, shortness of breath, digestive issues, confusion, impaired memory or poor concentration, heart palpitations, or a racing heart. It feels like you're having a heart attack, but it's actually anxiety. The pain and fatigue, flares, and unpredictability of lupus can influence anxiety. The erratic ups and downs in your health can make it difficult to make or keep plans or stick to a fixed schedule. Overwhelming feelings of dread can lead you to avoid doing certain things. For example, if you dread going to the doctor for your follow-ups, you may continuously cancel or miss appointments. Emotions, anxiety disorders lie on a spectrum, from fairly mild to very anxious. Knowing how probably to predict instances where you might become anxious and anticipating these moments with a plan may help to combat feelings of anxiety. Now, that breathing exercises help, and also writing down what makes you anxious in your little notebook, in your journal. When you feel very anxious, just notice what is causing your anxiety. Then at a later time, you can make a plan. What am I going to do about this? What are your triggers? When you think about instances that make you feel depressed, stressed, or anxious, are they usually related to a specific obstacle or challenge? It's important to identify the triggers that you can control versus those you cannot. Some triggers are related to your lupus, such as flares, but some are linked to behaviors or circumstances. For example, if a relative puts you down and makes you feel bad, it makes you feel depressed and stressed out. And lifestyle choices such as choosing people you surround yourself with can help lessen triggers. For example, if you had a healthy diet, because stuff like caffeine and all those increase anxiety. And if it's people, choose the positive people to surround yourself with. You can get rid of all those triggers, but keep a notebook, and if you feel that a certain person or event or situation is a trigger, write it down. Then later, write down suggestions of how to get rid of triggers and how you can handle such a situation. For example, if a certain person triggers your anxiety or depression, avoid contact. If not possible to avoid that person, try to limit your contact or put some distance between you and that person. Protect yourself. Emotionally protect yourself. Put up barriers, people. Barriers. If your lupus symptoms, flare, or diagnosis is a trigger, number 1, start a journal. It helps to write down emotions. It's been a huge help in my mental health journey. My journal, when I feel something and it triggers anxiety, I write it down. Make an appointment with your rheumatologist if it is a concerning symptom. If it's a symptom that is troubling you and causing depression, and it's something new, and you feel like your current medication is not working, make an appointment, send an email, or call your rheumatologist. Take responsibility for your care. That's number 3. Change your lifestyle and do everything you possibly can to have a better quality of life. I am a person that focuses on better quality of life. I don't have to live another 50 years. I want more quality of life for the 10, 20 I still have left. And that is why I say, do everything. Take responsibility for your care. Don't sit in front of a doctor, listen to the doctor, take the capsules, and okay, this capsules I'm not taking, so it must make me feel better, and it's my doctor's responsibility to get me better. No, lupus doesn't work that way. You have to change your lifestyle. It has been proven over and over and over. Eating healthy does have a great effect on lupus. Your symptoms does improve, and I'm a living proof of that. And then do a little bit of exercise. Take a walk every day. Before I got ill, I was struggling with a flare recently. And before that, I'm a runner. I've been a runner all my life, a dancer, a runner. I'm not aerobics. I cannot do cardio. I'm not that person. I hate it. So it took me 3 years to get to a point where I could run a little. Then I had this flare. Now I'm starting rehab all over, just walking a certain amount every day. But I will get to my running again. This exercise, you don't understand, people. It's like you taking an antidepressant, anti-anxiety med. Because that going out and taking a walk or, moving your muscles does improve your symptoms. I mean, if I've been in bed or ill for a while and I haven't walked, I feel terrible. My whole body is paining. Then when I take my walks, my pain improves. It's just the truth. And you can then have a better quality of life. Another one, number 4, educate yourself on lupus. If you know more, a new symptom or flare cannot caught you off guard. It cannot make you anxious. Because, for example, if you know that mouth sores are a symptom of lupus and it starts, you can then, that's part of the lupus. Let me get something to take care of that. For example, putting silver just on that sore, no, not drinking of it. You have your own oral gels and whatever for your mouth ulcers. But lupus is very much taking care of that which is bothering you now. So make sure you take care of everything step by step. For example, if you have dry eyes, get drops for dry eyes, mouth ulcers. For those, if your hair is falling out, take care of every symptom step by step on its own. If you have taken care of all the small symptoms, it's easier to deal with the big ones than be overwhelmed with all the symptoms. And number 5, if your emotions is overwhelming, reach out for help. See a therapist, psychologist, psychiatrist, counselor, social worker. Getting the support you need. Support begins with self-compassion. Treating yourself with the same kindness and care as you do with your loved ones. This is one where we struggle. This is the hardest thing to learn in a lupus journey. Self-compassion. Self-compassion seems to help with coping, resilience, and enhancing one's motivation. Research suggests that self-compassion is associated with lower stress, better well-being, and adjustment to illness. Self-compassion seems to have a buffering effect against stress, to support one's ability to navigate life challenges. What's wrong with me? So because we gain weight, we lose hair, we feel ugly, we don't have compassion on ourselves. Not pity, compassion. That is to say, it's okay if I'm not able to do that. It's okay, if I'm sick all the time. It's okay. I will have good days. Tomorrow will be a good day. Let my body rest now. Have self-compassion, people. This is a difficult one for all of us because there are issues in your past that affect your self-compassion in a negative way. And we grow up in a world that tells you to be strong and not to cry and not to feel sorry for yourself. It's a big part of our culture, and that tends to affect us. And then it's difficult to have compassion on yourself. It takes hard work, but you have to teach yourself to become compassionate to you. Living with lupus and living beyond lupus takes work. You have to work hard at improving your situation, your lupus, besides all the other things you do. It can be frustrating and angering when people in your life don't understand what you're going through. Living with lupus has an impact on you and your relationship with others. It can also influence changes in your role in various areas of your life, as well as your need for help from one day to the next. Sometimes these changes are not so easy for others to understand. An important aspect to consider is how to communicate with others and how to ask for support. A few things to consider when thinking about how to gain support. How can you best communicate your experience? For example, explaining what lupus feels like. The spoon theory, that's all over our social media pages, is a huge help. Then also getting videos, getting information to your family on what lupus is for them, what makes it easier for them to understand, because they don't understand it. Number 2, how can you ask for the support you need? Don't be prideful. That was my biggest problem. I can do this on my own. I am whatever. I can do everything on my own. I can stand alone. I can do this. I don't need anybody. Then you need people. And how can you ask for support? Ask your husband, please, can you do this for me? I cannot anymore. Ask your children. Ask your family members, sisters, brothers, friends, to help you to be able to take the load off you and to help you with things you cannot do. It's very difficult to try to fix this on your own. Number 3, what are your barriers to getting the support you want? Now, the barriers can be people not understanding. You are prideful. People that have the wrong idea of lupus. They think it's not bad, it's something in your head. Whatever they think. Those are all barriers. And what's important with those barriers? Number 1 is education. Number 2 is you must learn to ask for help. Okay, coping tools and strategies for emotional health. There are some basic actions you can take to help you regulate your emotion and support emotional health and well-being. Number 1, be aware of your patterns of thinking and the ways in which you may, for instance, tend to attack or criticize yourself. That is, put a guard in front of your mouth, because that can be a huge problem. Number 2, get adequate rest and sleep. I know it's a huge problem in the lupus community, getting rest and sleep. Remember, take a nap in the afternoon, it can help. Ask your doctor for medication if you're struggling to sleep. If your sleep medication is not working and it's one of the Z drugs, Zolpidem, all those starting with a Z, ask your doctor for something else, because trazodone, trepoline and all those help you fall asleep and stay asleep, and you don't feel like you have partied all night when you wake up. Number 3, carefully select what you eat and drink. Now, we continuously preach this. Avoid gluten, lactose and sugar. Eat vegetables and fruit. Avoid red meat or lessen red meat. Lower your starch intake. Be careful what you drink. Drink a lot of water. I don't say avoid caffeine because I still drink coffee, but I have been drinking less and less coffee. So yeah, and start a food diary and see what foods did you eat breakfast, lunch and dinner. That's the only things that's going to work. And then what do you feel like, so that you know what you have to avoid. And starting a food diary is your family can eat still with you what you eat. You just eat more fruit and vegetables. And make it affordable. You don't have to spend a lot of money, and lessen the starch. It's a big problem in South Africa. People eat too much starch. It turns into sugar, something that can affect your lupus. Then, number 4, reduce stress through exercise, breath work, meditation, and or various type of yoga. You choose whatever you like. Like I said, I was a runner. That's the only thing I can do. I cannot do yoga or the breathe work is that 1 to 7 breathing, meditation, whatever works for you, do that. But you have to do, some form of exercise to help you cope. There are also several strategies for emotionals. That was coping skills. Now emotional health strategies. Number 1, aim to enhance self-efficacy. Your belief in your ability to succeed and achieve goals. That is definitely very important. You still have to have things that you do, still have to have goals, because without that you will get depressed. Have goals, have something you want to do, plan it, dream, don't stop dreaming, but also don't put unachievable goals down for yourself. Take it one day, one step at a time, because if you don't achieve that goals that you've put down, you're going to feel depressed again. So it's all a thing. Number 2, work with a team of doctors and other providers from different physical and mental health specialities. So it's your rheumatologist. You're obviously going to have a GP, as we call it in South Africa, which is your primary doctor. You may have to go for physical therapy, or you may see a counsel for your mental health. Work together. If they suggest something, implement it, do it, work to get yourself better. Educate yourself about lupus and how to manage it. We have so many videos, so many info, pamphlets, you name it out there for information. We have a website, all those, we've got all those available with information. Next one, access support from your family, friends, colleagues, new and old, community and spiritual guidance. It's very, if you belong to a church, there's always people you can depend on at a church. Ask your friend, your family, your children, your mother, your father for support in certain things. You need support, and if there's people that don't understand, try to educate them. And then there will always be people that don't want to understand. put barriers in place for that people, because they are going to say you're lazy, they don't understand this, you feel good, and then suddenly you're ill. You've got all those, you got them, but then put in barriers in place. Avoid them. Don't ask them for help then, because they are going to, cause depression for you. And then the last one, use coping tools such as activities that bring you joy or increase your creative expression. Listening to music, dancing, creating art, and writing in your journal can also help. Write down on a piece of paper, in your journal, whatever, what you enjoy doing. Whether it's painting, whether it's writing, whether it's listening to music, watching documentaries, whatever that which you enjoy. You have to do something that you enjoy at least once a week, because that also lessens your anxiety and depression, makes you feel better about yourself. I love painting. It's obviously very difficult when you're in flare and you're in bed, but then you do something like crafts or read a book or watch a movie or something that I can do. And don't watch sad movies then. Watch nice story movies that can make you feel positive. Watch a series, binge a series, whatever you need to do to make yourself feel better, do that. And if you're in bed and you can't get out, find ways to make you feel better in bed. Bees, whatever you need to do. Self-efficacy. Self-efficacy is the confidence to do things that help you manage your condition and its symptoms. In the evolution of care, past medical models relied purely on medication and clinical interventions to help manage symptoms. For example, they only depended on medicine. But research has led to new medical treatment that build patients' skills and confidence in self-management. Natural products, counselors, all those things are there to help you. By actively working to improve your perceived self-efficacy, you can practice self-management behaviors such as setting goals around things that you can do to help manage your symptoms. For example, I want to take a walk this week. Next week, I want to walk a little further. You will feel better about yourself. You have to, because you're ill, there are going to be problems or stuff that you cannot do anymore. That is realistic. That's going to happen. And you have to delegate and ask people for help for those things. But you have to keep yourself efficient in a certain way. You have to be able to do things because you need that self-efficiently to manage your symptoms, to feel better about yourself. This will encourage you to take action and self-manage, which in turn can result in better symptom management, leading to significant changes in your health status. Really, if you have become efficient in certain areas of your life, it does make you feel better. It does help you manage your symptoms better, and then all over have a positive impact on your health. Following this path, improving your self-efficacy can improve your exercise routine, communication skills, and mental health, because you're going to feel positive. It can also help you to relax and enhance your ability to find community resources to help you deal with depression, anxiety, and stress. That is a part where it comes back to ask for help. The Self-Managed Resource Center offers a self-efficacy tool and more on the evaluation tools page. I will page the page in the show notes for you. It has many tools you can use, for example, mental stress management, relaxation, chronic disease self-efficiently, and quality of life, stress, cognitive symptom management, communication with the physician, chronic disease self-efficiency, all those little tools. And I'll paste the link. It's really worth it to do these things, and I'll paste it in the show notes, and I'll paste it on our social media as well. Some of us have external sources of control to help us navigate life's journey with lupus. This includes medication, physical support like physical therapy, massages, exercises, and mobility aids like cane and walkers. So medication alone is not going to help you lupus. Lupus is complex. It's not a textbook disease. You're going to have a different things to help you other than medication, like exercises, like I said, massages, physical therapy, and mobility. If you need a cane or a walker or a wheelchair, don't be shy about it. You have to do that to improve your quality of life. If you have to struggle to walk 3 steps and by then be exhausted and then can't walk anymore, can't spend time with your family, have to be in bed, wouldn't it be better to get into a wheelchair? Do you understand where I'm coming from? However, we all have natural internal sources of control to help us regulate our emotions. Some examples of internal sources of control include mindfulness, physical exercises such as stretches, tai chi, opportunity for social support, and spiritual connections. So, mindfulness, physical exercises such as those that improve your emotion, tai chi and yoga, all those. Opportunities for social support, that means in your community, help that's available in your community. And then spiritual connections, that is your spiritual side of your journey. It's important to be aware that lupus has an impact on your emotion, moods, identity, relationships, ability to function, and a sense of self-efficiency. Like I said, you cannot be shy if you get lupus, because you have to rely on people at certain stages of your life, and being shy is you cannot be that. At the same time, gaining this awareness can help you set achievable goals in the regard to coping with your disease and managing emotional responses. There is no quick fix for emotions like depression, anxiety, etc. But with some work, you can improve your quality of life, and that is very important. You must strive for a better quality of life. I know you want to take a tablet and then your lupus must get better or cured, but sometimes even the doctors struggle to get lupus under control, and it's a mystery to them. So that is why they have to try a lot of therapies to get your correct treatment plan. That is why we always suggest to learn as much about lupus as you can. Change your lifestyle. Take care of your mental health, because if you want to live beyond lupus, you will have to take care of every facet of your life that lupus affects. Work with your medical team. Learn, plan, improve. There is no other way, because lupus affects your whole life. That concludes this podcast. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Please review it on the platform you are listening on. It's very important for us to know if you like the topics and what other topics you would suggest. So please like, share, and follow us on social media. Andrea's Gift, Lupus Kids, Lupus South Africa, and Susie Eagle's flight. Thank you. Bye-bye.